Good evening, everybody. My presentation is going to be on Tesla, internationalization from Singapore to China. Summary of this case, Tesla was faced with a challenge. They needed to know where to expand to. There's some options. They tried out Singapore, are in the United States, or were in the United States, are currently still here, obviously. They had to figure out how to continue with their internationalization strategy. Thinking about China as a possibility, and some questions that they're asking themselves are, what could the company learn from other experiences? Was it the right time to enter China? What's going on in China right now? There's a lot of pollution issues at that time. There's a lot of pollution issues. And just looking at it economically and politically as well. How could Tesla prevent a repeat of the Singapore experience? One of their Tesla's overall goal is to create a mass market for cost-effective, fully electric vehicles. And in Singapore, actually, they applied for tax breaks, and they were actually denied. They thought they were going to get it, but they were denied, and it was a big shock. And it was because, according to the Singaporean government, they did not meet the technical requirements for that. In the US, they also were having challenges, and first, charging stations, being able for the battery to last for the appropriate amount of time for the average travel distance, especially in California. And also how they wanted to sell directly. They wanted to get around the dealership situation, and that was causing some issues because technically it's not legal to do that. Again, the charge time, how fast the vehicle was able to charge. And then Tesla was having trouble keeping up with demand globally as well, not just in the US and in Singapore. They're having trouble meeting the orders. So is going into China going to help that? What do they need to do before they go into China? And also in China, one of the reasons why they were thinking about going there was because of pollution. And the government was offering subsidiaries to companies who could meet certain requirements. My main issue is, how should Tesla continue to grow globally as a company? Is China a good option? My sub-issues are, could the range and long charge time of the Tesla be creating a lack of enthusiasm in other markets? So word spreads. People know that the charge time is not great, or the amount of time it takes to charge is not great. And is that spreading to different markets? Are people hearing about that? Another sub issue: what problems exist over trying to sell a car in a shopping mall or in a non-conventional area? It's a whole new concept that they're employing. Is that a good idea? Can that be implemented in China? How will Tesla begin to educate the people of China about the switch to electric cars? Now, there definitely were electric cars at that time in China. However, this electric car is a little bit more expensive. And how are they going to create brand recognition in China? Are people going to be receptive to that? Also, how will Tesla potentially create charging stations in densely populated areas where people do not live in traditional homes? In the US, especially in California, we have quite a bit of area to have charging stations, especially on longer drives. For instance, down and up the 5 freeway 99. There's a lot of area to have charging stations, existing gas stations where charging stations could be implemented. That's another sub issue. Another one is, what conditions exist in North America that do not exist in other places that make North America Tesla's biggest buyer? So looking at North America, looking at Tesla being fairly successful there, comparing that to China and seeing, is China a good option? Because this is what's working in the US, will that work in China? And what needs to change if not? Another sub-issue is what shortcomings are causing Tesla to not be able to deliver its product in a timely manner internationally, and could this be affecting product growth? Tesla's has to be able to handle getting the product to where it needs to be before they can expand anywhere. So that's another sub-issue that needs to be considered. It seems like Tesla's final comment on Singapore was blaming Singapore. Yet could Tesla have approached the opportunity differently to have allowed them to participate? When they go into China, what needs to change or if they go into China, what needs to change to how they approach the situation? Why weren't they prepared? Why didn't they meet the technical requirements? Seems like they blamed Singapore, but in reality, seems to me like there's something going on their end. My recommendations here are: determine if the range and long charge time is a contributing factor and the reason for the lack of enthusiasm in other markets by communicating with those representatives and ask them what they want to see, like the situation in Singapore. So communication in business is key, and communicating to see, in Singapore specifically, it would have been good for them to communicate, what are you guys looking for? Here's what we have, here's what we're doing. Is this meeting your requirements? Rather than just going in and just sending it in and assuming that that's going to be the case. Another recommendation is get customer feedback and results of using malls and similar locations to expose potential customers to the Tesla brand. Determine if that type of location is a healthy way to grow brand awareness and increase sales, as people are not used to buying a car without test driving it as well. So some research needs to be done into whether the mall situation is a good way to be selling the cars, making sure that that's a good option in China. How do people buy things in China? How are they drawn to things? Now in China, there's a lot less space. So it's a consideration that needs to be made. Another recommendation: by reviewing how existing mall and high foot traffic locations do for creating brand awareness of Tesla brand, and evaluate if it could be a good step to use in China. Analyze what current strategies other companies are using to advertise hybrid and electric cars in China, and how that differs from the way that it is done in the biggest market in North America. So it's similar to the last recommendation, but looking at how Tesla's advertising in Northern America and comparing that to China and seeing, is this something that can we advertise the same way? Are we going to get foot traffic past our store? Are people going to walk into our store? Are they going to be interested in that? Are they in the mindset of buying a car when they walk into the mall in China? Another recommendation: investigate what current types of charging station exist in China for other types of vehicles. And after that, implement that knowledge to create a charging station that will work in tighter apartment situations. China already had electric cars. What are other companies doing? Another point or another recommendation: determine the reasons why Tesla's biggest market in North America, and analyze how similar conditions can be created in other areas of the world that will create the same benefit for potential Tesla consumers. So we need to analyze, what's making North America work and what's going to make China work, similar to a previous point. But, what can Tesla do to ensure that going into China, they're not going to have a Singapore or early on US experience? They can hop in there and they can address the issues immediately and get traction, get brand recognition, and get going. Another recommendation is determine what shortcomings are causing Tesla to fall short on production, and to determine what they need to do to expand. They need to determine those shortcomings first. I'm sorry, I think I actually duplicated a couple slides here. Let's see. First application is talk to local leaders who are the head of implementing clean air vehicles, see what people are looking for and what they're looking for. It could be that the people are more looking for electric vehicles that are more for only city driving. This can also depend on the transportation options that people currently have. A lot of people use non-vehicle transportation in China. Is it worth going into China if most people are in the cities are using non-vehicle transportation? Where's the trend going? Is it going away from cars and more to mass transportation? And also, surveys need to be sent out to current Tesla owners by the way of phone, mail, email, and also potential customers through social media and other platforms to determine whether selling a car without driving it has been working well and will work well in the future for other potential customers. And this needs to be done to see if people, again, if people are willing to buy the cars without driving, because that's not an option right now with the way Tesla is doing things. They're assuming that people are walking into their store with a predetermined decision to buy the vehicle because of the research they've done on it. But is that the case? By doing the surveys in China, this may give an idea of how to create brand awareness in China. Also collaborate with local companies to learn the best way to create brand awareness given that region. Another application is talk to the government officials and discuss how current charging stations are working. So again, communicating with the government, asking what's going on, what's working, what's not, what they think, create potential charging methods and models that could work for China, potentially release prototypes, see if people use them and it works well. If not, create a different option. So really communicating in that way and seeing what works and what doesn't, and really coming up with an ultimate plan that is really works well with their current needs. Tesla needs to ask themselves why their business model is working in North America and not in Singapore. Study what kind of people are buying the car and see what kind of lifestyle styles they live and where they live. And this is really going to help in China, again, looking at the lifestyle of people, the culture, seeing what they do every day, seeing how they communicate, seeing how they transport. And also Tesla will need to look internally to see what issues they are having with their production process. It seems like the employees' training issue is actually an excuse. Tesla may need to expand their production line to keep up with demand. People use excuses like this all the time. It's kind of a one-off excuse, giving some reason why, but really probably isn't the actual reason of what's going on. Last application, communicate with individuals who denied their entrance to the program in Singapore and ask what they wanted. Make it a habit to ask these questions beforehand. Yeah, make it a habit to ask questions beforehand before you submit your final situation. My conclusion is overall, if Tesla follows these guidelines, they'll be more prepared for the future by learning from current and past situations. They will determine what features of the Tesla are most important to the market, whether they need to focus on the range of the Tesla or if the target market cares about the range. Tesla will determine whether shopping malls and high foot traffic areas are good places to expand brand awareness and create sales in different regions they want to expand to. So learn from the past, don't repeat it in the future. They will be able to take the knowledge they have from their experiences already and apply it to China and adjust what needs to be adjusted. Thank you.